guys, so today's video breakdown is going to be the first of a series of breakdowns, and I'm deciding to do a series on different sort of De La Riva and Berimbolo players. So we have to start obviously with Rafael Mendes, one of the most legendary De La Riva players that we know in our generation pretty much. So we're going to look at a world championship match, the IBJJF Worlds 2014 match versus Mario Reis. Okay, let's get straight into it. Video by IBJJF. So here you can see they're both already hand fighting, already ready to get into double guard pull situation. It's the semi-finals. We're both anticipating both players to be looking for the double guard pull. Mario tries to capitalize by standing up, so he's already ahead on the advantage. We'll see how Rafa's really dictating the pace here, trying to follow up with the Berimbolo. So we just take a look, maybe even slow it down a little. Let's try and put even half speed for a second. So he's here, he grabs the side of the knee sleeve. That's a very nice detail that I caught onto earlier on watching the fight. So as he initiates the double guard pull, he's looking for his De La Riva. With his left hand, he grabs onto the knee sleeve to control where the knee is, so it's more easy to track the knee line. Gets his De La Riva leg hug, immediately looks for the belt, initiates his spin as Mario gets on top, pulls into the belt, starts using this stepping foot, his that is still his De La Riva leg. Yeah, he uses his stepping foot into the hip. And see how crunched it is here. Again, if we look at Mario's knee to shoulder relationship, this is something that is super, super important in any Berimbolo movement. We're always trying to emphasize the knee to shoulder relationship, trying to keep a very minimal space between the shoulder and the knee. So we usually call this the bull concept. As you can see, Mario's body is very, very bulled up here. Okay. If we look at where his shoulder is in relation to where Mario's knee is, it's very close. It's as close as you can get those two body parts to be. If you think about it, even from a guard playing perspective, where you're always trying to think knees to chest, right? You're trying to deny that space. So Rafa's doing a really nice job here with the knee to shoulder relationship. And then you can see that Mario is just trying to hold the other pant sleeve over the Rafa's already looking to pummel around this leg. He manages to get both legs into this sort of stacking position in a second. You'll see he's got his left hand in the drawstring, his right hand now by the armpit grip. And you can see here the half speed is perfect really for this breakdown. That he has both of his feet towards Mario's head because he has the intention to try and stack Mario, right? In every Berimbolo movement, we're usually looking for hip elevation. And as you can see, Mario's hips is on top of Rafa's chest here. So there is some hip elevation. But again, if we're thinking about the knee to shoulder relationship, right? Seeing how Mario's knee line is over here and the second knee is over here, his shoulder line is over here. And the nature of most Berimbolo movements is that it's rotational. Okay, so usually we're almost trying to stack them, so the hips are getting in the air into stack position. It makes it easier for us to start to hip escape around them to climb the back, so on and so forth. There's so many different variations of how we would finish a Berimbolo depending on our partner's reaction. So we're going to take a closer look to what Mario is doing following up from this stack position. Okay, so just keep it playing. Put it back onto our, let's put 0.75, let it go a little bit quicker. He has the horseshoe collar grip at the back. Again, the feet staying he's very patient in this match. It's something I noticed. You see a lot of Berimbolo players who are constantly moving to transition. I feel Rafa was very zen in this match and actually managed to slow down the pace really well just by understanding where were the appropriate pit stopping points for the Berimbolo here. You'll see further in the match, he uses a lot of transitions to the top position that allows him to kind of perch almost in a position that looks like the leg weave position or the side smash position. So yeah, we'll just rewind that real quick and take a look at the leg configuration here. So we can see that Rafa's left leg It's in between Mario's outside leg here. And he has, so that's half his left leg that's shelved on top of the hip line. And again, this is an extremely strong leg position. Especially like what Rafa really likes to do is usually wedging his knee on the outside of the partner's hips. So when that knee is on the outside of the hip, it kind of acts like a fixed point. So if you just look at me in the camera, you see my fist here, right? So anytime there's I would draw on the screen as well, so it's a bit easier. So that's his knee on the outside of Mario's hip. Okay, so anytime he applies force around that fixed point, is going to cause some sort of rotation that will probably get his hips into the air or into some sort of position that looks like either the stack or the turtle position. Okay, so again, I'm just going to let the video take its course. Let's continue. So yeah, staying very patient. He's got the horseshoe collar grip, keeping a tight knee pinch, knee on the outside. See how, again, like the hips elevated super easily over there. It's primarily driven by this outside leg. The inside leg is acting more as a fixed point that, again, it wedges Mario in this position. So all we really need to do, if I use the annotation tool one more time, we're looking for this sort of movement to happen, right? Because right now, Mario's back is flat on the mat. What we're always looking for in the Berimbolo movement is back exposure. So we need the back to be off the mat. So accomplishing any sort of movement that will allow his back to be off the mat is going to be critical in this position. So again, thinking about how Rafa's left leg is on the fixed point outside of Mario's hip line, the right leg is basically like a vector in this situation. It's giving direction to Mario's body. So again, let's keep continuing. You see how his hips comes in the air. Nice. And then Rafa's got his grip on the far side pant sleeve here. He's really doing a good job of controlling both left and right side of the body. So it's very easy to track and manage Mario's movement. And you can, if you take a look at Rafa's feet, he's also kind of isolating Mario's right arm. Mario does look like he's trying to hold on to that leg a little bit just to slow down Rafa's pummeling and adjustments as well. It's still quite a difficult position to handle for Mario. From here, if we just take a look at Rafa's body positioning in the Berimbolo, notice how he's pretty shifted onto his right shoulder, right? So like often what a lot of people do when they're learning the Berimbolo, they tend to stay very equally across the left and right shoulder, like a basic inversion. But if you see here, that Rafa's head is actually peeking out a little bit. So he's almost doing like a shoulder stand here. See how there's a very steady base, which allows him to weight shift very easily into Mario. So when his body is positioned like this, it makes it much harder for Mario to be able to push him away, right? Because he has a very firm base of support like this. Essentially, this is where Rafa's head is, his body is over here, and for Mario to push into this direction of Rafa's body, it's not really affecting his base. So in order for Mario to really effectively be able to push Rafa over, Rafa's head would have to be more tucked inside, which is more what you would see again from novice Berimbolo players who are doing a basic conversion that's going from left to right shoulder if we assume that we are using the De La Riva hook to the left side. Okay, so let's understand that this shoulder stand position super imperative when playing Berimbolo, or at least mixing it up. If you don't want your partner to push away on you, this is a very strong position to use. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so again, he's always controlling the far side leg with his hand. I believe his leg configuration is triangled, at least at this point on it, further up. But he also does a really nice job. Like, see how he's basing on his elbow, not only his head, which is quite nice to give him a little bit of extra height so his head isn't actually taking all of the weight of his body. Doing a very good job, something that I believe in, really dividing the weight support between different parts of your body. So yeah, see how he's balancing on his head here? Again, I believe that his legs are configured in a triangle position. And again, he's still got control of both left and right side of the body. He's keeping his legs high up on Mario's chest. Yeah, so he transitions to a triangle configuration with the legs. This is very strong. It's very easy for Rafa to keep his weight shifted to the right side towards Mario's shoulder line, to the head. And very easy for him to, again, obtain the horseshoe collar grip again. Like, see how like this position really emulates like side smash position. It's simply that Rafa is usually continually chasing the back take, and he doesn't release this configuration. They're very determined to take the back from here and use his moves. I really like this lapel control that he got on the left side of Mario's body. It was like, as you'll see from this position, it does appear like Mario could be in an advantageous position, right? Because like he's somewhat got some sort of base back, and Rafa's in more of the classic inversion situation where he's between sharing the weight between both of his shoulders. His head isn't in our face bolo position. But what's really nice here, you're going to see in a second that Rafa's trying to push back into him, and not simply by just kind of tripoding his body in the direction of Mario's body, but also because he's pulling on that lapel. There's oppositional force, which really enables him to keep close proximity to Mario's body. You see, again, he's trying to get to that position where he's able to shoulder stand a little bit more, but with the use of that lapel pulling into it, yeah, like from this position, really, really nice way to manage the distance, manage the space, and stay tight in this body positioning. Was again, of course, like Rafa's aim is to get the back take, and he's not going to stop until he gets that. Really like this position where he's pretty much, he makes Mario sit. So once he makes Mario sit, this is a beautiful position. Like you can see from here, he makes Mario sit. Now, again, before we continue, look at the knee to shoulder relationship. I'm going to use the annotation tool one more time for you guys. Mario's right knee is here. His chest is here. His shoulder is here. It's so close to each other. He's really crunched up, really, really tight like a ball here. And you can see the intention with Rafa's left foot is now to step on the mat to continually stack him. Again, anytime you stack someone, the general idea is that we're thinking about the concept of hip elevation. So again, now we continue it. Rafa's going to make his move. He puts the foot on the floor so he can weight shift into it. And now he can take his time again. He's in the top position. He's doing well. He's in the advantageous position. He doesn't have to worry about anything. So he's got his left hand in the drawstring here, taking his time to really like keep weight on the hip line, biding his time. You know, black belt matches are 10 minutes long. There's no need to rush. And now bringing his right leg back in. And again, you can see how this position really, again, it's simply a modified leg weave position or like side smash position. He's got Mario's legs across his body. It's not extremely crossed over, like still in a position where Mario could recover. You'll see in a second. I believe that Mario's left leg does come out and up. He's still able to base, you see, but like Rafa doesn't really bother about trying to keep intense pressure. I've always felt that Rafa is a guy that really prioritizes movement over trying to crush people. Again, keeping the principles of stacking him, the hips are in the air. He's just looking for that opening to re-roll, but really biding his time. Again, we are back at normal speed in this match, so you can really see how he's not rushing any of his moves. Again, putting his right leg back to the inside space, like trying to put his shin on top of Mario's hip line, stomach. Here you can see it's a little bit more like what we would find in the leg weave position. Mario's trying to hug Rafa's leg. Again, trying to come up in this position, maybe with some sort of intention to roll through. Yeah, Rafa's staying really patient here, doing a really nice job with his right leg, actually, if you just rewind that one sec. Like, look how he brings his right knee to the inside of Mario's hip line. We're always looking for hip-to-hip connection. You see, he's like doing a really nice job of basing on his right hand here. Like, as you can see, just from a movement perspective of how he's supporting his weight, like everything is in a nice straight line, really supporting his weight and not too close to Mario, so like the chances of him getting knocked over are very minimal. like in terms of weight shift and supporting his own weight, this is very nice. But to continue and again bringing the focus back to the right leg, as Mario tries to get up, tries to reverse the situation. So you get half of his control on the left side body, keeping the hips elevated. Now, if we look at that little exchange between what actually helped him get the back take here, he sits back. We just take this back to slow playback speed so I can talk through it. Again, he's still got lapel control. He's got his legs in between. But what happens here? He has his right shin across Mario's hip line, stomach, and the shin basically acts as a structure. Okay, when we have the structure in the way, if we simply move, if we place more than one structure, so let's say there's two structures between left and right leg, if we move them around our partner's body, our partner can only move or either around these structures or within the confine of structure 1 and structure 2, okay? So between left and right leg. So what Rafa's doing a really good job at, again, he's got the control on Mario's left leg by the knee sleeve. He's got this structure of the right shin by the rib cage and by it's like wedged into the armpit. So he has very good control of the upper body. Can't very clearly see what's happening with the left leg, but I do assume that it's still crunching on Mario's left leg behind the knee line, right? And he's also got that lapel grip, so it's really easy for him to just, you can see here, most of the movement isn't dictated by structure 2. Structure 2 is more of a fixed structure, like a floating structure, if we had to describe it as such. And just replay that one more time. Again, noticing how his right leg really does minimal movement, but he moves into the backspace, readjusts his leg positioning of the left leg, and because he has the control of the knee sleeve and the lapel and the ability to hip escape, it's very easy for him now. Yeah, exactly. He just hip escapes, and as Mario moves back, he moves to adjust accordingly and to get the back take here. And then now he's established like his seatbelt here, somewhat. He's establishing his lapel feet, looking for lapel choke. And then pretty much he does tap Mario. If we just go back to normal playback. Just so you guys can finish the whole match. So the finish is like gonna come on any second now. Hopefully, guys, it was of some insight to see how I'm thinking while I'm watching the match. If you enjoyed it, let me know, like, subscribe, share it, and do suggest other matches that you would like to be broken down, especially on the topic of Berimbolos and other De La Riva players, okay? So, hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.